We are entering an era where trilogies aren't just consistent, they are allowing the finales to elevate what the beginnings promised. 28 years later, The Bone Temple is slowly punching its ticket into the conversation for one of the best horror trilogies ever, and even one of the best trilogies ever made, and I am loving it. Being a direct sequel of 2025's 28 Years Later, which continues, well, 28 years later from 2002's 28 Days Later, we see an evolution of the infected, being in herds, having alphas, essentially embracing the primal animalistic nature of organisms. The story continues moments after the conclusion of 28 Years Later. Spike is now interacting with a cultish group that I like to call the Cult of Jimmy. And I like what's happening here because in 28 Years Later, he gets a sense of reality through the lens of his father, having to hunt and what it means to survive in the world that you're born in. But he also gets a sense of reality through the lens of his mother, what it means to know compassion and embracing the inevitable of all living things. But now in 28 years later, The Bone Temple, Spike is learning that at times humanity without order causes discord, chaos, calamity. I've really been appreciating the journey Spike is going through and how he's been able to navigate, but what The Bone Temple does very well is build on his predecessor while also shaking things up in its own cruel way. The Cult of Jimmy is a group of adults who never truly grew up. They base their lives on the chaotic nature of the Teletubbies while worshipping a being to excuse their own actions. They are evil, but very confused. And what writer Alex Garland does very well is provide the concept of what if. Like, what if Spike never had the nurturing nature of his parents? What if the Cult of Jimmy didn't witness their community being wiped out when they were kids? The Bone Temple also identifies itself as a film about redemption. You can be reborn and evolve from your monstrosity, your primal instincts, to become something stronger, something better. And that's something I will continuously appreciate about Garland. He can create a message or a series of messages in the most unique scenarios that aren't always black and white, but will always open the door for interpretation and communication. Take Annihilation, for example, a film that provides humanity with a chance to embrace the inevitable or to be annihilated by the rejection of it. And as powerful as Garland's writing is, the directing of Nia DaCosta brings everything together. She gave a grueling display of visuals while also not taking away from its beauty. And I'm so happy for its success because it reiterates the following fact. Nia DaCosta and Chloe Zhao were not to be blamed for the failure of the Eternals and the Marvels. When both movies flopped, critics were putting the blame on these talented women. So for them to come out of those situations and one give us a Golden Globe film that is Hamnet, and the other to give us a chilling sequel to a horror film in January, speaks volumes. But anyways, 28 Years Later was a banger and might be the banger of the month. I loved everything that it provided as well as everything that it sets up for a third film. But I'm curious, have you seen it? And if you have, what do you think of it? That's about it.